Mother of a biracial boy is standing by. She's suing the Nevada Charter School, the first lawsuit, I believe, of its kind to challenge CRT expansion in K through 12. Gabrielle Clark is on the live line. Gabrielle, you're my new hero.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I have biracial grandchildren, and you know, it's hard enough not being white enough or not being black enough, but then to go to school and have them, they're teaching them to hate half of themselves. It's very confusing for these poor children.
Well, it does a whole lot more than just teaching them to hate half of themselves. It teaches them to hate America. It teaches them to hate their families. It teaches them to separate themselves from their parents. There's lots of things wrong with this indoctrination going on in K through 12. In our family, I am actually biracial. My mother is black and my father was white, and my first husband was black and my second husband was white. So some of my kids are white and some of my kids are black. So
you never know what you're going to get, do you, Gabrielle?
Yes,
you never know what you're going to get. Some come out dark, some come out light. We've got the same thing.
Yes, that's it exactly. So you can't. We're teaching the white children to consider themselves privileged and oppressors, and we're teaching the black children to be perpetual victims. This is insanity, and we're going to stop it.
You know, they keep saying white people are born with silver spoons in their butts, Gabrielle, and I have been digging for 55 years, and I cannot find that spoon. My butt is sore from digging for the spoon. I can't find it.
My father was white, and he was poor working class his whole life. He did go to college for a while, but his mother was sick, and so he was not born with a silver spoon in his butt. Mm-mm. There are lots and lots of people all across this country who are struggling every day, and it doesn't matter what color their skin is.
Thank you so much for saying that, because there's a group in my family who are very, very poor, and they get treated a certain way because of the color of their skin. Some of them biracial, some of them white, and it doesn't matter. Poor is poor. Poor hurts no matter what color you are.
It does indeed.
Yeah. All right. So in the Nevada Charter School, they were teaching them all of the things that we're talking about, but they mentioned something about a privilege score. Can you explain that?
Well, the assignment that was given, which my son refused to complete, was something like an oppression privilege matrix. So the more privilege you, or the certain identities that you have, your race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, disability, socioeconomic level, those sorts of things, then they put you at this privilege level, and if you say you are a straight white male, a straight white Christian male, then you're at the top of privilege and you are an oppressor and you're oppressing everyone down the line. I mean, that's completely insane.
It really is insane. My God, think about this. Just because somebody had this thought in their head, how did this even catch any traction? How did this get traction?
You know what? This was being taught as a theory, of course, in college, in the graduate studies programs for law schools all across the country for years, and someone thought it was a good idea to try to make it palatable for children. But there's a reason why we don't let seventh graders work on cadavers. We don't let them do that. You know what I mean? There's reason. They're not ready for that kind of, to digest that kind of information. Mm-hmm. And so we shouldn't be trying to teach them something that is clearly too advanced concepts for them to understand.
Okay. And is this a public school? Is this charter school a public school, or is it a
It
private?
It's a public charter. It's a public charter.
So they told him if he wouldn't take part in this, that he wouldn't graduate?
They did indeed. In the
Hell
beginning,
no.
we tried to get accommodations. We tried to opt out of the class, and they refused. So we filed our lawsuit in December, and by the spring, they had relented and allowed him to opt out of the class, expunged his record, and he has since graduated. But the damage has already been done. So we're continuing with our lawsuit because we want to see this adjudicated. This should not happen to anybody else.
It shouldn't. And Gabrielle, just think, this is happening across the state right now. This is it's getting a foothold across the United States right now. You had the sense to file a lawsuit against this, but most of these kids don't even go home and tell their parents what they're being asked at school and those sorts of things. This could be happening everywhere.
It is happening everywhere. This oppression privilege matrix is being utilized all over the country, as well as affinity groups and privilege walks. I mean, these are the kinds of things that are happening all over. And unfortunately, people are too afraid, or they just don't know enough to check. I didn't know what was going on in my son's class until I saw what was happening in my daughter's class. And I wouldn't have known had it not been for distance learning. So, the silver lining for all of the kids having to be out of school and be at home is that we got to see exactly what has been taught or really indoctrinated into our children for the last few years. I was completely and totally appalled and taken aback by everything that I saw. And if you go into your children's classrooms, into their virtual learning classrooms, I guarantee you will see something similar.
Yeah, I bet you will. But the media says it's not happening.
Well, the media are liars, and they've been liars since the beginning. We have all been watching how the mainstream media has been covering things up and just flat out lying about things left and right. But as we clearly have seen over the past few weeks, the teachers' unions have decided that they're not going to hide it any longer, and that they're going to continue to indoctrinate our children. We are fighting back. I'm with No Left Turn in Education. Whenever I had a problem, I reached out to Dr. Elena Fishburne, and she got us a legal counsel, and we've been powering through ever since. And if you have a problem, please reach out, noleftturn.us, and you can get help if you need it. And if you are wanting to help join this fight, please reach out to noleftturn.us, or you can find No Left Turn in Education on Facebook, and come and join our fight. We need everyone.
We do. And you know what's funny? And God bless teachers. I support teachers 100% because most of them are in the classroom trying to teach reading, writing, arithmetic, and they're putting up with a bunch of spoiled little brats who won't do what they're told. But there are a lot of good kids there, and CRT has no place in the classroom. And if it did have a place in the classroom, they wouldn't get so bent out of shape when a kid pulls out his phone and starts recording what the teacher's saying. They have a big problem with that because they don't want there to be a record of the way they're teaching.
Certainly not. I mean, and we've all seen how intense everything can get when we've been sending in FOIA requests to find out everything that's going on with the teachers and what they're actually teaching and what they're actually being told to use in their curriculum. We're getting pushback all over the country about FOIA requests. And there's even been a lawsuit filed against one parent for asking for FOIA requests. So this is they're definitely not okay with being caught indoctrinating your children. And that is all the more reason to catch them.
You know,
and stop them.
the bottom line here is that is a public school paid for by public money, which is tax dollars from every single person in this country who's working. And we have every right to know every word that is spoken in a classroom. We have every right to know. We shouldn't even have to file FOIA. We could just say, I want to know, and they have to tell us. But it's difficult to produce every word that's said because not everything is recorded. I get that. But the curriculum should be, pun intended, an open book.
Right. Well, quite frankly, every school has a website, and you know, most of those websites have a lot of space available. And so there's no reason why every grade and every teacher's curriculum can't be available online. There's absolutely no reason why that is not something that is happening already. So, you know, we are doing everything we can. We're taking it to the school boards. We're taking it to the legislature. We're taking it to the courts. We're fighting on every front.
Good, because you know what? Kids have a hard enough time in school without somebody finding out that their privilege score is a little too high, and then the kids may take it upon themselves to feel like they need to knock them off their pedestal, even if they aren't on one. You know how kids are. Kids are mean. Kids can be mean. And
we don't need other kids. We don't need other kids growing up thinking that they can't achieve something because of their race or their gender either.
That too.
We don't need that. There's multitudes of issues wrong with this whole situation.
There's nothing right with it. There's absolutely nothing right with it. There's no reason for any of this to matter. Somebody may not want to come out of the closet. Someone may not want someone to know their religion. They may not want people to know that. And to say you're not going to graduate unless you give us this information so we can score you on whether or not you are privileged, that I seriously can't wrap my head around it. Gabrielle, I can't wrap my head around it.
It is the very definition of a violation of our civil rights, and that's why we took action.
Unbelievable. All right. So you won at a certain level. Where do we go now?
We are now waiting on the judge to make a decision on a couple of things, and then we will be proceeding. Like I said, we want to see this adjudicated. Yeah. The damage has already been done. My son, he should not have had to fight this hard for his basic civil liberties.
Yep.
And you know, this is you know, an expensive temper tantrum. But you know what? I'm the mother, and my son was his rights were being violated, and I wasn't going to stand for that. And neither should any other parent. Every parent should be sticking up for their children right now.
Yep. The left has just gone so left, they're going in circles. It's crazy. So Gabrielle Clark is the mom of a biracial son who is suing the Nevada charter school for forcing him to take a CRT privilege score test based on his race, family, religion, and beliefs to determine his privilege score. It's insane. Give them that website once more, Gabrielle, if you would, please.
That is noleftturn.us, and you can also find us on Facebook.
noleftturn.us. Everybody write that down. Gabrielle, thank you for your time today, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye-bye.